Hey guys, this is Rain Wolf, and we're back with 86 after a week long or 2 week long break, give or take.
Hey guys, Kyrdo Silverheart here.
And this is Asuna Silverheart.
They jumped straight into it. There was zero F's given.
I'm glad to see them jump straight into it because especially after the fact that we had to take a week off, and
Yes.
have that special recap episode that we're not even going to bother covering because, hey, we've already covered all that stuff.
Very true.
Yeah, it's nice to just go straight from the end of 2 weeks ago, pick up right where it leaves off, and get right into the shitstorm.
And it's funny how this whole conversation goes down, and then you just see it pretty much leap higher into the air, and they're flipping out. It's like, you're going to drop us off from this altitude, but we also find out what those things were that were kind of wrapped up and had the
Yeah, it was
caution
like
colors on it.
Yeah, it was like a pulley system type thing with parachutes, and it was
There were
cool.
kind of thrusters in a parachute system. So how
Yeah,
the
it was
soft
basically
landing.
a quick deployment system.
Yeah.
And I get now why they were so hesitant about wanting to use it originally,
Mhm.
because they never had a chance to test that. They tested the shit out of the plane. Never
Yeah.
had a chance to test the deployment system.
Yeah, we saw how rocky start it was.
Yeah, she's like, it should work. That's never something you want to hear when you're being dropped out of an airplane.
And that these forms, the mechs are a lot stronger than the juggernauts. I don't think their legs are going to handle a drop from that height.
Not when they're idled, especially.
No.
I mean, we've seen the Juggernauts and we've seen the Feldres do some amazing acrobatic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But when they don't have anything to grapple onto in order to soften that blow, I mean, granted, they technically could have grappled onto the ship, I guess,
Yeah.
and used it to kind of break their fall, but
I think at that point it was too far out of reach. I don't
yeah.
think the grapples would have done the job.
And you're dropping, so I mean, you're gonna go faster.
Mm-hmm.
So they get dropped off, and then we get into the command center of all this, and we're seeing it like they're clearing through, making a path, all this going on the radar, and just keep charging through. You see them wrecking through all these Legion.
What's interesting about this is, yes, while they are clearing a path, they start to realize that the Legion are actually guiding them.
Mm-hmm.
Like the conflict that they are engaged in is actually starting to seem almost staged by the Legion because they're driving them to a particular area.
Yeah.
Which, hey, red flag number one.
Mm-hmm. And then we actually see how big Memphis or Mempho actually is.
Morpho.
Morpho. This thing is huge. And Shin ends up going in his trance. And then he starts hearing it's like, I'll kill you. They start firing, everything of that. Shin gets close enough. Then you hear Federica shout out, Shin, that is not it. Then you look
That's not
up.
Kiri.
No. And this thing in the distance, when we find out what the one that actually is, it looks like a flippin' angel of death.
Am I the only one that was thinking hard light for those wings?
Yes.
Like, I saw those wings and I immediately started thinking about like hard light technology, kind of like in Halo 4. And I was just like, wow, now that's some advancement. But
But luckily he ends up calling a retreat just in the nick of time.
Yeah, and I mean that was very clever, and that's something we haven't seen the Legion really do before. I mean, he set up a trap for them.
And nobody thought they were going to have a spare body laying around with how giant this thing is.
in the afterthought of it, they even called out that it would be much more efficient and expedient for them to switch out a good core into a new model.
Yeah.
As opposed to try to make repairs. I was like, yeah, that's kind of how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
If your gun jams, but you still have ammo, you take the clip out, you put it in another gun.
And after the shot from the Menfo,
Morpho.
we get back to the command center and we hear everything that's going on. It's like, oh, we can go send another unit. And then you hear, the lines that come out of the president's mouth.
Ernst had my utmost respect in this scene. And I love the fact that he's just straight up calling him out on their...
Yeah, and he even says it. He was like, "You made the mistake when you elected me. You made the
Yes.
mistake when you elected me. You've made this decision. This is your own fault." He's not gonna have it. He has ideologies and things he stands by that he's just not gonna let them go out like that.
No, he doesn't want others to die or pretty much wasted lives in this case.
Yeah, it's a lack of humanity, is what he tells him. That's you're showing a lack of humanity, and he's right.
And as one of the people says, like, hey, the units, they're coming back online, they're alive. But when it pans over to Ernst and you see the glare, it's like, you lucky SOBs. I was about to wipe all of you out.
Well, but the thing is, too, is I don't think he... Well, I mean, yeah, they were lucky. Like, the military was lucky. But at the same time, he's like, you lucky sons of... thinking about, Nordlich, but not in the essence of I was getting ready to wipe them out. But yeah, he was definitely getting ready to burn that command center to the ground.
There's going to be nobody left. And when it pops back out, we see them in the Shin makes the command. Everybody switch to heat rounds, get in position. They're firing.
I love the look on Raiden's face
yes.
when they come back to the combat, because he just has this like smug, pissed off, but impressed look on his face. He was like, wow, to think they actually had the real one somewhere else and set up a decoy. And he was like, shit, Shin, you couldn't even tell it wasn't the real one. Nope. He's impressed, but he's pissed.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he is. He's not happy. But then, and as they're firing off these rounds and they're getting reflect dot, and then the firing from Andrew, Shin goes off, hops, fires around, and pretty much, since with the distance, the effectiveness of it was a lot less than what it should have been. Then as that round goes flying, we switch over to Kiri's perspective, and we hear what he actually calls Shin. I know I'm going to slaughter that.
The interesting part, too, is he still goes by the call sign Pale Rider.
Mm-hmm.
That was his call sign when he was alive and part of the original Giad forces. But he has this exchange with No Face, who I guess is some sort of central intelligence commanding unit for the Legion.
Pretty much higher than a Shepherd.
Yeah. Apparently, the entire plan for this setup was they knew that Shin and his unit were going to be the ones in this area. And they set up this entire decoy operation to specifically get Shin. And they call him...
I thought this was Shin at first when they popped over to his perspective. Because they look like very similar.
Well, they're nosing.
Yeah, they're distant cousins, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact that they called out and said special target call sign Billiger was successfully lured in and destroyed. I was like, man, you guys are some conniving SOBs now. I was like, before it was just these massively aggressive units that were coming after human forces, taking what they needed, obliterating the rest. Well, and now they're setting up sting operations and decoys and booby traps and all this other stuff.
Because
and I'm like,
they're going farther in. They're going farther into their areas.
The territories.
The heavily controlled areas. Before, they were just on the outside. The forces were coming to them. Those are like your first waves. Now they're going to the forces, so they're going to their headquarters.
Right.
So it's going to be worse.
This also shows the development of the Legion AI. Yeah. Because, I mean, it's artificial intelligence. It's not going to stop learning. So it's picking up on all of these different battle tactics and things that it possibly could have been originally programmed with. But now it also says, hey, when these guys set up stings, we get to monitor and see how they do, so we can use their own tactics against them.
And we're going to see different equipment, too. We're going to see different machines that are more powerful now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the waves we were getting originally were the original Legion when this whole attack started. Now, all the Legion are the upgraded, or what we know them as from Shin and the gang, the Black Sheep.
Yeah. Yeah, a majority of them.
And we come to find out also that the insignia that Shin's brother used, Shin, it is pretty much the Nozen's clan insignia. By the way,
isn't
Kiri words this?
I need to go back and look and see what Pale Rider's symbol was.
Well, I don't think we ever got a clear glance of it, though.
No, I don't think so. I don't think we did. I don't remember seeing one. But he goes by Pale Rider, so think about that, because that all leads back to...
That is another type of headless horseman as well.
Yeah, it's death on a horse, pretty much, is what it's saying.
I don't know why, but I keep having this like mental image of basically taking Shin or his brother's sigil, and instead of having like the spade, shovel, or a sword. For some reason, I was thinking Pale Rider was almost kind of like a headless horseman type of deal, and he was carrying a skull.
Could be, or I was thinking more in the line of death.
A scythe, maybe.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I keep having this mental image of him having the skull in his hand, and I don't know why. Like, I feel like I saw that image before.
I don't know. We'll have to do some digging. But as this is going on, Pale Rider's also getting pretty much yelled at in this case to retreat. But we're having this stare off of Shin's like dead stare, and then Pale Rider just in a rage.
He's I think it's really important, like, in that moment, like, Pale Rider is losing his effing mind. He's getting very angry. Like, you can see it. And Shin is not even giving an
We
F.
had to have technically friendly, well, not, he wasn't hit, but technically in this case, friendly fire to pull him out of his trance.
Shin was in there till his friends were like, we need you. Where are you? We need your help.
It wasn't just his friends, it was the entire Nordlich squadron.
Yeah, a round was fired.
I want to know who fired.
I think it was
Karina?
Karina, because if you, after the
No, that wasn't Karina. Karina doesn't have a headset visor like that.
Yeah, she does. Because she, in these new units, she does. If you remember back, because she snipes from a distance.
Does she?
Yes, she is the sniper unit.
I really did not think that was her. I thought that was another Nordlich member.
No. And I don't think nobody knows his movements better than any of them.
See, that's why I thought maybe it was like Raiden or somebody.
But Raiden, we've seen his current unit. He is not a long distance fighter. Shin was up there.
That's true.
Because Raiden
okay, well, scratch that entire argument.
Yeah, Raiden and Laughing Fox are both a closer fighter.
They're kind of like Shin's secondaries, his backup, in other words. But the vice commander, pretty much the one that's in charge of the other half of the unit, sees all this, and they're moving forward, and he's like, we won't be able to we can't keep up with you, so they turn around. All right, boys.
They're gonna hold them off.
Mm-hmm. It's like, if you're in luck, you love hell, and you're gonna get it. And then now we get a flashback to Kiri's past, of his time with Federica and the Federation before everything happened.
Just a quick side note, yes, you were correct, it was Karina. I literally just looked at, like, I stopped and examined the footage for a second, and the IFF tag was being read from Shin's screen, looking back at the city. And it said, friendly fire lock on, IFF tag 05 gunslinger. And that is Karina's tag.
Yep.
So, take back everything I said.
We'll see what gets left. So, but seeing these gentle moments with Federica and Kiri in the palace, it's kind of like a calm, teary, drillful moment. And now to see the way he is now.
Yeah, this dude's bipolar. Like, he just loses it, and then he'll pull it back in. Like, and so it's like he'll go completely insane for a hot second, completely lose his mind, and then he pulls it right back in, and he's like got that stone cold, serious nose and face is what I'm gonna call it, resting nose and face. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is.
I love it.
Can't lie. Because it was kind of the face his brother had as well when he was in the Shepherd.
Yeah, they all have that. They just that's exactly, like, he goes completely insane and then he pulls it back in. And that'll be his downfall too. That inability to control his emotions completely. I mean, I'm sure that'll play in later, but like, it's scary to watch though cuz he gets mad.
That he does.
Yeah, this is the new big bad. It's going to be rough.
There's a scene I am waiting for, and Kirito knows what I'm talking about too. From our,
I didn't read any of that.
I didn't read any of it. It just came across when I was digging for some stuff, and I slipped across it. And I was like, "Damn it!" But back into it. It's now they're in this hangar. Shannon's having a conversation with the bowl haircut dude, the one that sent him to begin with. It's like, do you need reinforcements?
Oh, he's not even asking if he needs reinforcements. He's straight up telling him, he's like, we can't send air support, we can't send backup, we can't do shit. He's like, you guys are on your own. He's like, yeah, I know, we prefer it that way.
And once he finishes this conversation, it comes back over to the hangar, and it's hilarious to see this see that we have right here. It's Fido. You got the little sweat drops. Then you see Theo and Karina, the expressions they have on their face, and I knew this is probably where she was at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kirito called it last time. He was like, I'm pretty certain she's in there. And I was like, yeah, probably. Yep.
Yeah, I looked over at Austin and I was like, last time we did a show, which one of us was it called out that she was probably stowed away in Fido?
I know it was one of us. I can't remember.
I agreed. I was like, it's, yeah, totally possible. That's not a far fetch with Frederica at all to think of that.
Nope.
And she used poor Fido.
Mm-hmm. Shin kicks Fido. He's like, open up. Or was it Theo? Nope, it's Shin. It's like, Fido?
Shin demanded it, yeah. He
Yep.
wasn't, because at first Fido wasn't going to do it.
Oh, he was pretty much shitting himself right now. If Robot shat, that's what he was doing the whole time. Because he knew he was busted.
Oh, he shat Frederica.
I don't know how she got that robot to agree to that. That's the thing. Like, I'm just not sure what she did to get that robot to agree to let her in there.
Okay, so I have a theory about that.
She probably snuck in before he started loading the cases.
No, Frederica was part of the team that got him back up and running.
True. So he feels, which, I mean, robots can't really feel, but I
well,
think
Fido's not your average robot.
Yeah.
Fido.
The AI that's operating Fido is way too like nostalgic and emotional to not be like, okay, yeah, I'll keep you safe, I'll keep you hidden.
Know. That's why I cried when he died the first time. I cried. Really.
My guess is what Fido is like what they probably wanted for the Legion in some way, but not as expressive, but knowing the difference between allies and non-allies.
I think
But the Legion went wrong.
To a degree, I think they still wanted something a little bit more violent, but like Fido, because Fido's a storage bot, a unit, pretty much.
And as soon as the bay door opens, Theo loses it. and then she ends up going back at him. It's like, what do you think, fools? And she's pretty much says it to them. It's like, I'm here to prevent you guys from killing yourself.
Yeah, she straight up calls it out and says that she doesn't like the way they think and the way they operate. These guys, they treat everything like a suicide mission, but that's how they were brought up in the military, so everything pretty much was a suicide mission.
Mm-hmm, it's true.
Well, and also we get a little funny moment as well. It's like, if I told you to take her back, he's like, no, don't be ridiculous. The only person that could take her back is you. I'm not scared. Pretty much, she says, I'm not skilled enough to get through that whole barricade of Legion.
He's not wrong. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Raiden. He is a badass, but he is not Shin. Shin has that extrasensory perception to know where the Legion are and what they are doing, and he's not ready for that.
No. It's that one sense that kind of prevents him. I think if he had it, or at least something similar to it, he'd probably be the same boat as Shin or pretty close to it. And it's funny because now Raiden ends up making the point, it's like, because everybody else's cockpit is not big enough for her to ride in. So she is stuck with Raiden when they're in battle.
Yeah, what's the difference between his unit and, like, Shin or Laughing Fox's?
I don't know. It's just
I think they're more heavy mobility. Because you notice those two move very similar. Raiden does to some degree, but I think he just carries more cargo.
He's more of the... I think he's more of a tank. So if you take it in the idea of that, you've got Theo and Shin or DPS, and then I think Raiden's more of a tank. Like, he's more close combat, but his unit's bigger so it can take a little bit more damage because he's not quite as quick as the other two. You know what I mean? But he doesn't need to be because he hits harder.
He's kind of like a gunbreaker in a way. Best way to sum it up.
Yeah. He's quick, but he's also like he's
not
a
as
heavy
mobile.
hitter. Yeah, not quite as mobile.
So, since Fido's the restock unit, does that make him the healer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting thought. Very interesting thought.
Now we need to make a little image of, all right, here's our healers, here's our DPS.
Oh, God. We're going to have a Final Fantasy XIV structured party of 86 members. This is going to be... Watch our YouTube channel, guys, and wait for us to make a small little shit post about this.
So Shin also throws the pistol to Federica, and Federica makes the comments like, "This is too big for a little girl like me."
She milks that shit. Like she does that every time. Every time she's like, I'm a weak, frail, tiny little thing.
I'm a sweet, innocent little girl who, by the way, you're the one that signed off on the whole Legion War to start begin. So
when you were like 3, she's still in her full. She's savage if she needs to be.
Can barely wipe her own ass, but she's sending out everybody to die.
So now back to the conversation with Spider Queen and what's his face.
Black Widow. What's his face? It's
well, they refer to her as Spider Woman, but he refers to her as the Black Widow, which we come to find out
him as the praying mantis.
The murderous praying mantis.
Oh, we gotta add murderous on there.
And kind of makes sense the way the character he gives off. I kind of really want to see her in combat now. With that
I do
name.
too. But the whole reason that name comes up is because of the loss that we found out about. Because apparently they were married without ever actually, I guess, having a proper wedding.
Yep.
And he died.
Yeah, and he died, and he even calls out, he says there aren't many brides who have to wear mourning clothes before actually having to wear a wedding dress.
I think she wanted to rock him.
She does, especially after he looks at her and makes a comment that says, "This is what you get for rejecting me and going with an idiot who left his wife behind." I was like, you are the saltiest blue-balled I've ever seen in an anime.
I really just wanted to rock him in the face as well.
I want to deck him about as hard as I want to deck Rapey McDouchebag from the Alfheim segment of SAO. No.
Let's do this. Let's throw him in the path of the men.
The Morphos rail cannon? Yes, please.
Just drop him right there.
The rail cannon's getting ready to fire. Cool. We launch a into the cannon. We choose you.
But after everything is said and done, the title card we got for next episode, Together Unto Death. I can't really say on where things are going right now, or how many more episodes we're going to get, because last season was only 11 episodes, but there's so much more happening in this season.
Yeah.
Are they going to extend it?
I really wish we could figure out if they did like an extended arc or extended episode count for the season. You know, because like you said, last season was 11 episodes, and that was kind of a pilot season, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
You know, the first season's usually the shortest of a series, and then, you know, the seasons after that, as they get more developed arcs and more budget and all this other stuff, you start to get 12 to 22, 24 episode count, length. But man, if they keep it to 11 episodes again with this season, this is either going to be hardcore and fast paced the next 3 episodes, or it's going to be one trauma inducing cliffhanger.
There's going to be that, or we could end up having, it's a rare case nowadays, but we do get it occasionally where we get the 14, 16 episode season.
Oh,
it's
that's
still
true
a short
too.
Season, but it's not like,
it's going to be a trauma-inducing cliffhanger no matter what happens. I guarantee that's just the way this series works. Let's be honest about it.
For this arc, I don't think there's enough. From what I'm seeing, give or take, I'm not sure on where this may go, but for this arc particularly, I don't think there's going to be enough content for a 24 episode season. Just the way kind of this last little bit's been flowing out, because it kind of has that feel of a closure, but where?
That's true.
Because we're finished with pretty much being in the Federation. Now they're going out after Kiri. So this is going to change location. Pretty much every time we've had a massive location change is either where things end for the season or where things are going to start to pick up. From just what I'm picking off of from first season into second season.
Yeah, that's a good observation.
Any last words for this episode? I guess that's a no.
Yeah, no, the episode spoke for itself. It was really good. I'm a little concerned about the title of the next episode, but
oh god,
we'll see.
So keep checking us out. We have our podcast up every Thursday, give or take. When we don't have a con weekend going on, or we may not, I know Grizzly's probably still going to be streaming. Check him out or any of us out on Sundays around 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until next time, I'm Rainwolf.
This is Kirito Silverheart.
And this is Asuna Silverheart.
Leave a like, comment, maybe even subscribe, and later.
Bye.
Bye.